Hi, good afternoon. Hello, everyone. Okay, thank you and welcome to the ATCEN webinar series. Yeah, and for this time around, okay, we're going to be looking from working from home, and are we doing it right? Yeah, are we doing it right? Okay, together with me are three fantastic panelists. I'm really honored to have them here. Okay, we have Mr. Patrick Wee. Hi, Patrick. Hey, where did you go? All right.
Hello,
Okay.
hello.
Oh, there you go. Okay, and we have Peter. Yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome.
All right, and of course we have Geeta.
Hi everybody.
Okay, so I'm not gonna go in and introduce them. Okay, they will introduce themselves. But what I'd like to do is just do a quick introduction of my stuff. Yeah. All right. My name is Ken Ng. Okay, I'm the CEO and also the senior managing consultant for ATCEN. Right. So what we're doing, and as we're going through this lockdown. Okay, I'm sorry for calling it lockdown. It's a lot easier to say than MCO because it pretty much means the same thing anyway, right? Okay. So as a part of the lockdown, we have created and run this series of webinars. Right, and this is still to reach out to all of the community and actually do some good, to share some information, share knowledge, and share experience. Yeah. So lockdown doesn't mean you'll get stuck, okay? But we can continue learning. So ATCEN does training and consulting. Okay, so we have a lot of webinar series. We have online learning. Okay, we also specialize in leadership development and also your customer in terms of the customer experience cycle. All right, and so that's where we're looking at right now. Yeah. Okay, and so I am the host of this session. Okay, and anytime you have a question, you can go ahead and either private chat me or you can put the question on the chat board. Okay, or towards the end of the session, what we're going to do is we will be turning on the volume for you to ask questions verbally. Yeah, verbally. All right. So with that said, jumping into to discuss working from home. Are we doing it right? All right. Now let me allow the panelists to introduce themselves. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and start off with Patrick. Yeah. So Patrick, as soon as you're ready, okay, let's go ahead and do a quick introduction.
Right. Thank you, Ken. Good afternoon, everyone. Right. I think, first of all, I just want to say I'm very grateful to be invited to be on the panel today. I thought what I'll do is, as Ken suggested, give you a bit of background on about myself. I'm going to share screen here, prepare a couple of slides. I think the whole intention is also, sorry?
Go ahead, no problem.
Yeah. I think the intention is also to let everyone have an eye. Sorry?
Go ahead, no problem. Somebody.
Yeah, sorry. I think the intention is also to let everyone have a better idea on my past experience and the resources that I'm able to offer to everyone. So as you can see from the picture, I'm a Tai Chi practitioner. Hey. So this topic on working remotely or working from home is very interesting because I have been studying the I Ching, which is also known as a book of change, and studying the art of Tai Chi for many, many years. And there's this thing about the rhythm and the whole idea about timing. When do you go fast, when you go slow? And I'm really excited about sharing more about this later on in our discussion later, yeah? So just a bit more background about what I do is I started off my career in the Lim Kok Wing Group in the education line, and then I moved on into movie marketing. Some of you may have remembered this trilogy of movies called The Lord of the Rings. So I'm the person behind this, bringing the film from New Line Cinema into Malaysia. And currently I'm actively building Healthland still. Hopefully after the lockdown, we will continue to. In fact, last year we started a new brand called The Future of Wellness, which is a platform, platform where we bring together multiple wellness, I would say, services, solutions, all under one roof, all under one platform. Yeah. So the reason why I'm sharing this is, like I said, just to reiterate that make full use of me as your resource. If you know anyone, a close friend, family, or someone you love that has some wellness or health issues, I'm the best person probably you can come to get some resources or recommendations. Yeah. So that's a quick one from me in terms of introduction. Over to perhaps Peter.
Absolutely. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
Right. So if you can remove your screen share.
Sorry, let me just stop share.
Yep. There you go. Alrighty. Okay, Peter, over to you, buddy.
Hi everyone. Thank you for your time today and attendance. My name is Peter. I've been in the customer support industry for a while, 18 to 20 years. I have been working full-time remotely for the past 2+ years, almost 3 years now. And currently I run a company which focuses on remote work and remote work solutions.
All right, brilliant. Thank you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, I actually requested or asked Peter to join us because he is what I would call, I was telling him, hey, buddy, you're going to be the guinea pig because you've been doing this for the past 2 or 3 years, right? And a lot of us have just only now experiencing work from home, right? And so he's going to be sharing his experience on that. Yeah, right. Thanks, Peter. All right, let's go ahead and go over to our therapist here. Okay, Geeta, anytime you're ready, go ahead.
Okay, hi everybody. Again, very honored to be part of the panelists today. So I'm a physiotherapist. I've been a physiotherapist for the past 8 years. And currently I'm a consultant physiotherapist and a partner in smart physio and fitness solutions. And the one approach that we're doing a bit differently is right now we have a rehab center and we also have a gym. And that is because we don't think physio or treatment should stop at just relieving pain. But we also believe in empowering patients by focusing on continuous improvements and long-term maintenance instead of quick fixes. Now, traditionally, we don't work from home. Now, it's been a very weird change for us. But I think it's a good and improving industry where people are now beginning to go into telehealth. So that's something that is new, I guess. So that's all for me.
Yep. All right. And so that'll be interesting to hear. How are you going to do physiotherapy via telephone?
Yeah.
That'll be an interesting one. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, okay, thank you, panelists. Yeah. So what we're going to do is let me frame the topic here and what are we going to be discussing? What are we talking about? All right. Now, as we are discussing here, as we are talking about the item at hand, which is working from home, right? Feel free to put down the chats or any questions that you may have in chat. All right. So if we look at working from home, a lot of us are just now jumping into working from home. Previously, it was maybe you're not well or you feel like, okay, I've only got a few hours, that I'm going to be in the office. So there's no point going to the office. So I'll just work from home. Yeah. So you have those days where you work from home, but it's never been for a prolonged period. Okay. Never been a prolonged period as it has been now. Yeah. Okay. So what has happened is a lot of us are all of a sudden dropped into the deep ocean to swim eventually. All right, dropped into this modality of work, what I call modality of work, where we are working from home. All right, so I don't know about you, but speaking from personal experience, my working from home is actually more intense and more tiring than I would go to the office. So I cannot understand why this is happening. All right, it's just that I'm just at work and I'm at work and I'm at work and I'm at work, I'm at work. I don't know if anybody else is feeling that way. All right, if you are, give me a thumbs up or a clap or something. All right, so I have been going through that, and we felt that a lot of people are going through that also. Okay, and so that's why we broached this topic, to bring these 3 specialists in, this 3 individuals to share from 3 different perspectives. Okay? So the first perspective we're looking at would be Patrick, who will be sharing from a wellness perspective, an overall health perspective. Okay, being the wellness icon that he is, so we're very honored to have him here to share tips, right? And I was asking him, if it's possible, show us some Tai Chi moves online, so we can actually follow him. As I don't know if that's possible or not, or how many would follow. But that's what we're looking at. Okay, and then we're going to have Peter, who's already been doing this for the past 3 years. Right? We're going to talk about his highs, his lows, how he manages himself, right? So you get an individual perspective of someone who's been doing this for a long time. We also want to understand, what were some of the challenges when he first started? Yeah, probably the same challenges that we are going through. Right? And of course, we've got our physiotherapist, Geeta. All right. And of course, Geeta can always help us physically and in terms of, how we can get better ourselves in terms of stress and handling pains and aches and things that we get through. All right. That we may be experiencing. During our chat and catch up earlier before this webinar, Geeta was sharing, you'll get wrist pains, elbow pains. All right. And Peter immediately said, yeah, I know I'm having this wrist pains and elbow pains, right? Okay, so I don't intend to develop that. Okay, so I'd like to know what are some of the things that I can do, right, as I'm working through the day. Right, what are some of the things and some elements that I like? Yeah, I would like to do things in terms of be productive, okay, and yet feel good. Yeah, and make it rewarding. Yeah, at the end of the day, it must be rewarding. All right. As a disclaimer, I am working from home like everybody else. You will hear my 4-year-old who's busy playing with his Duplo in the room. All right. I apologize beforehand. Okay, but I think everybody understand now. Huh? Okay. All right. So we're going to get the ball rolling, and we're going to start off with some questions with the panelists. Yeah. Okay. If you don't mind, we're going to start off with Patrick. Yeah. So Patrick, all right. We're going to ask off, and then you start off, get the ball rolling with this. Okay. So everybody is working from home right now. All right? Everybody's working from home right now. And from a wellness perspective, okay, you're running 40 over branches of wellness centers. Yeah. I'm sure you get a lot of people coming in with symptoms and also aches and pains, which are related to sitting in one place for a long time, or or even all the illnesses that are involved with this, be it mental, be it physical. So what we'd like to know is, what is your view of working from home, and what are the pros, cons? How do you see working from home, right? And what are your thoughts on it? Yeah, Patrick, go ahead.
Wow, that's quite a number of questions all in one breath. So I'm going to hope I can remember everything. I'm just going to tackle one at a time.
Yes, please
so
do.
Maybe starting from the dimension of being a wellness center establishment. I think, yes, we do get a lot of customers coming to us with all sorts of pains, as you say, back aches and neck pain and all that. And I think that's generally attributed to the fact that human beings have now are leading very sedentary lifestyles, and we are not supposed to be so sedentary. We're supposed to be moving around, we're supposed to be hunting, picking fruits and all that. But people are spending many hours seated. I'm sure Geeta will agree with me, which is why it leads to a lot of all these problems. Yeah. But that said, I think wellness, just wanted to share also, is the fact that it's very multidimensional. It is not just the physical aspect. There's also the mental, the emotional. And in fact, if you allow me to share screen now, I want to share with you something called the 8 dimensions of wellness. I think you all can see my screen, right?
No, not yet. Okay, yeah, here we go. But there's a lot of images.
Okay, it's
yeah,
loading.
there we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
These are the various in simple. I just pull out an image from Google. So as you can see, it's physical, intellectual, emotional. In fact, finance is also the other really big thing. So I think with the current COVID-19 crisis, I think a lot of people are quite stressed financially as well. And this is also causing a lot of what I call anxiety in that sense. But coming back to what we were talking about in terms of the challenges working remotely, I think the key thing right now is what I call a sense of uncertainty. Because right now people are like, even my daughter, she was quite stressed in the first couple of days. She's like, wait, what's going to happen to my classes? And there's a lot of feeling of I don't have this, I don't have that. There's a lot of uncertainty. So I think what people need now is to find some form of stability, some form of a backbone, and find certain certainty. And that means finding a way to put in somewhat of a schedule, finding a new rhythm, which I can elaborate a little bit more.
Yeah.
But essentially, the stress is coming from this feeling of uncertainty. And when you are uncertain, obviously the mind will be like very stressed. Yeah. Unlike if you're going to school or you're going to the office, there's a certain rhythm and certain thing that you can expect. You can anticipate almost every day. Yeah. So that's just from the psychological perspective.
No, absolutely. Thank you for that, Patrick. But you say it's really because of the rhythm, right? And if you look at the rhythm, we've been doing this for close to almost, I would say, about, it feels like it's been a month. I feel like I've been in a rhythm, but the rhythm is so intense, man. How do you get that balance? How do you see that wheel of wellness? All right, and particular areas to pay attention to.
Sure. I think first of all, before you even talk about creating a new rhythm, the most important thing is to it's a good time to. So I think Ken probably would know this. My motto is slowing down to be more.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect time to actually slow down and reflect and think about who we are. Because what can be certain is the fact that you're certain about what you're meant to be or what you're really passionate about. Hello, there's Junior, right?
Yeah. That's Junior.
So yeah,
thank you.
So as I was saying, in this current uncertainty, what we need to do right now, the first thing first is to really reflect upon what we're really passionate about. Because what is certain is, like I say, I'm going to repeat it one more time, what we are meant to be, or what in the Japanese call the concept of ikigai, your reason of being. So once you are clear about what you are meant to be and what you are, who you are, then it's not easier to create a schedule. So for example, like essentially, this has to do a little bit with also personality and profiling. In fact, actually, sorry, I have a chart to better illustrate this. Hang on. Let me see.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wellness Training by Patrick Wee.
No. Let me see. Oh, can you all see this chart?
Yep, the Ikigai, yes.
Okay, this is called the Japanese concept of Ikigai. So it's a good time to kind of do a review of what you love and what the world needs, what you can be paid for, which is basically a cross between your profession and vocation, and what you're really good at. So the Japanese call this the reason of being, or, you know, like what gets you excited the moment you get out of bed kind of thing. So this is what is, I think it's a good time for all of us to identify what is really our purpose in life, right? And once you have established this, like for example, myself, I'm more of a creator.
Right.
I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I love to create new ideas, strategize and all that. And once you are clear about who you are, which sometimes, you know, I might be jumping here, but the key thing here is that in the real world, or in the usual pace or rhythm of things in the corporate world, things go so fast, and sometimes we don't think it's fast enough. We still want to accelerate some more. Technology has actually helped us to accelerate, but we still don't think it's fast enough. So we keep on going without actually slowing down to reflect what is really our reason for being. So once we are clear about what you really want to, what you want to pursue, then it's not clear about what skill that you may want to pick up, how you want to schedule your time throughout the day or throughout the day. So there's a right time for the right thing to do, different parts of the week and different times of the day. Just like a student, when we used to go to school, right? There is a timetable, right? There's a certain period for math, certain period for English and all that. So I think to overcome this stress, or on the other dimension, is how can we be the most productive in this new rhythm or in this new way of life, is to actually schedule our week, schedule our time better. So there's actually no such thing as time management. It's actually more energy management. How do we manage our energy? Different parts of the day. Different parts of the week.
Patrick, sorry. Energy management.
Yes.
Why? Is that physics or what?
No. It's actually very scientific, because I'm sure everyone would agree with me. I mean, not sure if you agree with me that you will feel a different level of energy when in the morning when you wake up, or around noon time after a meal, or in the afternoon. So there's definitely a different energy, different times of the day. There's also a different type of energy when you're in different spaces. So for example, when you are in a garden, with very nice sound of water or a lot of greens, then there's a different energy to it. Now, if you are in the kitchen and your wife is cooking and it's like feels really hot, right? There's a different energy in the kitchen. So that's why I say it's very important to create or create the spaces and time, and the right time to do the right thing in your home environment. So, for example, many of my friends or colleagues even, when they first started this remote working, they were so stressed because they said, I don't even have a place to work at home. And one of my colleagues this morning just told me, we had something really fun, we were all showing each other our workspaces. And one of them says that, look, I have to be trapped in my room because I can't leave my room because I've got, not in a bad way, a senile senior citizen who's in the 90s. And she doesn't have a proper workplace to work in. So she's a bit challenged in terms of restriction, but many of us have the chance to create or redesign certain spaces for different purposes. So for example, if I want to I want to create new things, I want to develop new ideas, I might be on my porch, overlooking my nice garden, brewing up some ideas. But when I need to do numbers, and I need to really be focused, I might go into my study and just shut out all distractions, for example. So it's a lot to do with environment, the environment that we design around ourselves. I hope that helps.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you for that, Patrick.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to finding more from you how we can create that energy and really, cycle that energy and also develop a better rhythm. Yeah, from our daily practices. Yeah. Okay. So,
Yep.
all right. Now, having said that, okay. Okay. Are you done with sharing the screen?
Oh, sorry.
No issue.
My apologies.
No issue at all. Okay, so but let's take it to Peter, and Peter has been doing this for the past 2-3 years. All right. Okay, and I don't know if he's going to share his ikigai or. Well, actually, we'd like to know, right? When you first started? Okay, 2-3 years ago, I can tell you right now, working from home. I think the concept was just started, and everybody was just saying, okay, it's a possibility. Maybe people are doing it, right? And you dived into it and you started doing it. So share with us, what was it like beginning, right? And the challenges you've gone through, your journey to where you are now, right? So yeah, go ahead, take it away, Peter.
Sure. So as you said, it was a very new thing, and people were not used to it. There weren't as many resources around to help you get used to remote work, etc. So I think I was lucky in that in the current situation with what we're experiencing in Malaysia right now, people have been forced into a situation where you have to work remotely. You didn't have a choice, and you didn't have time to plan for it, most likely. I did. So I got a place set up, I got my equipment, I got a good chair, a desk, etc. And in terms of wrist pain, etc., it's true. I've got a very nice wrist pad here as well to make sure that my wrist is well rested, good support. And I think those are key things to build as you go into your remote work and as it extends, or as you transition to remote roles, which I think will become more prevalent as time goes on. The part which was very tough was, as you said, Ken, you tend to be much more focused when you're doing the work. And if there's no other distractions around, you can actually focus. And that's one of the major benefits. I found myself to be much more productive, much more focused, and be able to churn out things at unimaginable speeds sometimes. Unfortunately, because everyone is trapped as well, if you have a family, etc., around right now, you're going to be distracted by people around you, things around you. You may not have a dedicated space in which to concentrate your efforts and your work. And so you then need to, as Patrick was saying, find the right time in the right place. Find a nook, a corner, which allows you seclusion of mind. That's what I've done. I found a corner which works for me, right? And no matter what happens around me, I'm concentrating on my work. It doesn't distract me until I have time to let it distract me. But with remote work, yes, I do sit a lot more. I don't walk around as much. I don't get as much exercise as I used to. That's the horrible part of it. I have to admit, I get bogged down. I do work and I don't get up as much. And so, you do get the back pains, the neck pains, the wrist aches. I had a very bad wrist ache. I had to use a wrist brace for a while in order to get, and I still use it once in a while.
I recognize that. Yeah, that's your bowling one, isn't it?
No, it looks like a bowling one. It's not.
Okay, but I'm looking at your corner. I've spoken to you many times on the web chat, right? And I see your corner there, but there's no greenery. So you are going against that balance that Patrick is talking about. Where's the greenery, bro?
The greenery is right outside, actually. I look up, I see buildings. I don't see greenery. I look outside at the apartment window. I can see the outside. At least that gives me a good view and a different perspective. So very often during meetings, when I'm thinking or I'm being creative or trying to think of ideas, I look away from the screen. I look at other things around me. I've got 2 Rubik's cubes on my desk that I use to stimulate creativity. I've got my Lego as well.
Wait, hang on. 2 Rubik's cubes.
Yes.
Are you trying to show off and telling us that you can do 2 at
Actually,
the same time?
I can't solve all of it because I don't want to learn the algorithms by heart.
Right.
So I try to figure it out. So I can solve 2 levels of the 3, 3x3, and the 2x2. I can almost get it. I just can't quite finish it.
Okay, next webinar. Next webinar. How to solve Rubik's cube while you're. Thanks, Peter. I think it's a great setup in terms of pains and aches. And you mentioned back ache, you mentioned wrist ache, arm ache. right? I'm sure there are a lot of other aches in other places, right? Okay, so
Yes.
I think that takes us directly to Geeta, right? And Geeta can share with us on some of the things, and how does she view working from home, right? And what's it look like, being a physiotherapist today? Yeah, go ahead, Geeta.
Okay, so I think, I mean, working from home for physiotherapists right now in Malaysia, it's almost non-existent, I think.
Wow.
So what I've been doing actually working from home is I've just been in touch with a lot of my patients still, like how are they coping? Because I've got patients seeing me for like, 3 times a week, when now they have no treatment for like a month. So that is a lot, for a lot of patients. So checking in on them, seeing how they're coping, and learning how to advise them through video, which is actually pretty good. It's been pretty beneficial, because I can show them the exercises. I can see when they're doing it wrong. It's exactly the same. It's just that there isn't any like personal touch, which is okay still. They can still do the exercises. So I think that's been the most of the working from home.
Okay, I'm sorry for interrupting, Geeta.
Sure.
You mean to tell me they set up a camera and they do the exercise and you view the exercise
Yes.
and then you provide the comments?
Yes.
Wow, that's incredibly difficult.
Yeah, but also because I think also because I have a rapport with these patients, so they're kind of also, they know what I'm talking about. I tell them, okay, your hand is too high up, and so they kind of know it, because it is similar to what I'm doing normally when I see them. I'm giving them a lot of cues, a lot of instructions, because with physiotherapy we are empowering them to do these exercises at home. So even if I'm seeing them in my center, I want to help them. I'm going to adjust them with my hands, but I'm also going to step back and tell them, okay, you do it on your own, and let me see if that's correct. So it's actually been beneficial. So and it's also been very good for feedback. So they've been telling me like, oh, okay, you know what, I did this way, but it's wrong. Then I feel a pain here. So
Right.
it's a lot of learning that way. But so that's one of the benefits of it. But also I think in terms of them being home, and also because they are also working normally, but now that they're home, it gives them a lot of responsibility on what they can control, because you're forced to be at home. So now and these are people that normally are complaining about, oh, I can't not wear my heels to work
Right.
today, even though I have an ankle injury, because I have a meeting with this boss or this VIP, right?
Sure.
But now you're able to rest, you're able to heal, and you're able to also know like what you need, because you're at home. You can really
Sure.
control it. You can control your height of your chair, where you want to sit down and do work, and
That's what I want to know. Sorry for interrupting.
yeah, sure.
Right. So if I am, we'll move to the next part, which is the questions of setting up, where you work and how you work. Right. So from a physical therapist's perspective, what are the things that we need the things to be paying attention to when working from home, so we don't develop this kind of symptoms? All right. So what are the things that we should be paying attention to?
Yeah. So very simply, I think it's ergonomic chair. So those can cost a lot, definitely. And a lot of people are not prepared for it, because you think I'm going to work at home for once a week, maybe, if not, right? But if you can get it secondhand or whatever, it is an amazing thing to invest in. It really is, and it really is something that even employers should provide their employees. If you want to look at reduced healthcare insurances, it's really, really good, because most of our injuries come from sitting down, prolonged position. So that's one, a good chair. And then your desk. So you need to make sure your desk is something that you don't have to go forward. Your arms should rest nicely on either your hand rest or on your desk, and your hands shouldn't be elevated. It should be the same level. And your computer screen should be eye level. And very, very simple thing, if you have like a small roll of towel, very
Paper
small,
towels? Yeah, paper towels.
or a small sort of cushion,
All right.
just having it at the bottom of your back, that is really, really important, and it's really, really good.
Will this work?
Something like that, but actually it should be a bit smaller, a bit, yeah. So, and that's really
Oh,
good.
by the way, this fell off the aeroplane. Okay, so Hi, folks. Sorry, I got disconnected. Yeah, is everybody back in?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'm back. Okay. I'm glad I got back in. All right. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. So you shared about how the chair needs to be ergonomic. Yeah. The position of the table and our line of sight. Okay.
Yes.
Our hands should not be elevated. Right. There should be a little round pillow, like a miniature bolster, if you may. Right. Behind your back. All right. And so that provides that arch support. Is that right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else we need to be paying attention to?
So a few more tips. Another thing is, and these are things that you don't only can do working from home, but even in your office or whatever. Prolonged positions are not good. Like our bodies don't like sitting in one position, whether you're healthy or injured or whatever. So if you're sitting down for a long period of time and you're working, and you need to set a egg timer, a small timer on your phone every 1 hour, and it doesn't have to be a walk away from your desk. It can just be you standing up, stretching up your arms, doing whatever you want to do, sitting down. That would be great for posture.
Okay. Thank you for that. Yeah. Okay.
No worries.
All right. So Gita, you said shake your arms around. Right now, I don't know any shake your arm around means. Maybe we can come back to that and share with us. What are some of the things we can do. All right. Okay. Now, so in terms of the setup of the place, yeah. Okay. What I'd like to do is let's get Patrick's view on that. Okay. And is Patrick here? Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. So Patrick, are you here?
Yes.
Okay. So Patrick, in terms of a setup of a workplace, so what do you think is the best setup from your perspective to get ready for working from home?
Okay, but first of all, I just want to add on something to what Gita talked about, the importance of keep on making sure that we move. So I just want to add on that technology is amazing nowadays. There's a lot of tools that can help us remind ourselves, apart from setting a timer. If you just allow me to share something, I just pull it out again from the internet. So this is from the Google. There are a lot of apps nowadays that actually reminds you. For example, there's one that's called Stand Up. There's one that says Move More, Break Time, and all this. So actually set timer like every 30 minutes, making sure nudging you to move or just walk around before you sit back again. Because human beings, like what Peter says, right? Sometimes we're so engrossed in our work, we can spend hours sitting down in the same position and not even realizing it. Yeah, so this is something that will be quite useful to everyone. Yeah. Now let me just stop share first. So what was the question again? Sorry, Ken. So I think the key thing here is it's not so much. I think every one of us is unique and different. So I think it's about creating the space or identifying a space that fits your nature. Of course, it also
Patrick, do you mind? Sorry, Patrick. Do you mind? Sorry. Patrick, sorry. Do you mind removing your share?
Oh yes. Okay, hang on.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see how I can do that. Oops.
Yeah, on the top, the red button, just stop sharing.
There. Okay.
Stop sharing. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Go. Yes. All right. Okay. All right. So I was just saying that it's about there's no standard SOP or plug and play kits because it really depends on your nature. So someone who is very, for example, disciplined, or what we call sometimes in the DISC language, in the terms is very high C. My wife is very high C. She cannot work with distractions. She needs to be in a room where there's no music and no one can kacau her, So if you're that kind of personality and your nature is as such, then you need to find a place that's very quiet and everything's very organized and planned out properly. But if you're like me, because I'm more of a creative nature, I'm a creator, I like to move around all the time. I can work while I cook. I can have a Zoom call while I'm walking the dogs. Like this morning I was having my circle time with my team, and I was actually also getting my son to mop the floor and clean the porch all at the same time.
Sorry. Circle time.
Yes.
Can you share that? Yeah. Well, what is this circle time?
Actually that's good that you asked that, because talking about a schedule, it's important to create a schedule that will build a certain rhythm for us every day. So like me and my team, we actually have a 9 a.m. circle time, which is like a touch base. where we connect and we update each other. And also, I think the other good thing is also to get everyone's energy up, to share celebrations, gratitude, and also share our priorities of the day. So it helps everyone set the right tone and energy in that sense. So that's one of the ways to create a schedule as well for yourselves. But coming back to your question, I think the key thing is just to, again, reiterate, there is really no one standard SOP. Is really creating or identifying a space that really fits your nature, number one. Secondly, you may actually create different spaces or the better term is identify different spaces in your house for different things that you wish to do. So like, for example, again, if I want to do some idea generation, I will spend more time outdoors in the garden, and I feel more relaxed with that. But if I really need to focus,
So for you, it's not about, depending on what you need to do. So for you, it's not about just one place, the ideal place. It really depends on how you function, what you need to do, then you will move to that space.
Yes. And the other thing you could do is, the other thing very interesting to create a flow or to heighten your productivity is also to identify different days of the week for different things or different, because it may not be your nature to do like more like clear bills and do all the paperwork stuff. But you know what? You just tell yourself, Monday is a day I'm going to do all this stuff that I hate to do. Right? So you identify Monday, I'm going to put myself in this room, in this study, for example.
You creative
so
types,
Tuesday
is
when I... So on Tuesday, I spend my time in my music room, for example. Wednesday, I spend my time in the garden because I'm going to do a lot of idea creation. Thursday, I'm just going to be Thursday, half of the day, I'm just going to be doing a lot of phone calls and Zoom calls. I'm going to be in my living room. So I think this is it can be quite fun, and it can also be a journey or self-discovery to find what sort of rhythm or what sort of schedule will help you increase or maximize your productivity using the different spaces, again, the right time at the right place in your home. Because in fact, this is a very, very ideal scenario. You are no longer trapped in your cubicle or in your office. Now you have actually a lot of flexibility to make use of the spaces that you have at home to optimize your potential, so to speak.
Right.
Good?
I appreciate that. Thank you, Patrick. Now, you make it sound like I really want to go and work in your house. All right, you make it sound like I really want to go and work in your house. Can walk into the garden, I have your music room, all right, you have your living room, you have your office, but unfortunately, some of us live in condo, right? If we walk out, we fall off the balcony already. So, if we are confined in smaller spaces, what would you suggest? Do you how do we create that separation? How do you create that flow, in a sense, to change our focus? Any ideas from you, Patrick?
Sure. I think there's still ways to be creative. I mean, most apartments nowadays are still on average about 1,000 square feet, or some of us luckier ones may be bigger. So even with 1,000 square feet, there's still different pockets of spaces you can use. Like some of my colleagues, they really enjoy working at a dining table for some reason. And when they need to be creative, maybe they prop themselves up on a lazy chair on the balcony. I think there's still ways. Some people, end up doing some work in a bedroom as well. Like my daughter loves doing all her work in a bedroom, which is not exactly the best. But yeah, I mean, you can allocate some time and schedule some time in different places. I think it's still possible to be creative. Doesn't mean that you need to have a landed property to do this. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Patrick. All right. Okay. Peter, what about setting up a place, man? What are you talking about, in terms of setting up your location? All right. There was a question earlier for Peter, which is, we talked about the equipment and the computer. He talked about things like that. So in our previous webinar, Peter had actually shared what were some of the best equipment for Zoom calling, for webinars. All right. So let's talk about that, Peter. What is your setup like? And also, more importantly, does the company pay for all that equipment? Do they buy all that equipment for you to prop up, to set up in your workspace? All right, Peter?
Well, it's a loaded question. Some companies do pay for such things. Some may give you an allowance for it. Some may defray some of the costs against which you can claim, and some others don't pay you anything towards it, right? For example, my old company, which I was working for when I first started working remotely, they don't pay you anything for your equipment, etc. You pay that yourself. But what they do is they put the cost of infrastructure, etc., into your salary. So that raises your salary while lowering their costs and allows you to then be able to get the equipment you need, etc. So as far as the setup is concerned, I think an important thing, like Geeta and Patrick said, is finding your spot, what works for you. I have a few general rules of thumb, which I always like to say: find a place with natural light if you can. The natural light is great for setting your mood, making sure you're healthy, making sure your rhythms are aligned, especially if you're going to be working at indoors for long periods of time. The other thing is get a good desk, get a good chair. Mine isn't the most expensive when I got it from IKEA, but in these times, it's not easy to go and test. But what I always recommend is test something, find something that fits you, that you're comfortable with. I sat in a couple of other much more expensive chairs, which I didn't find comfortable, to be honest. It just didn't feel nice, and this one did. So I got it. So I think find something which works, which is comfortable, which fits your budget. As far as remote working, if you're doing it full time, then definitely invest in a good set of headsets. This is my spare headset. My original one is lighter, and because I use it a lot throughout the day, 8 to 10 hours every day, something light and unobtrusive helps tremendously. You don't feel earache, you don't feel pain, you don't feel the weight on your head and neck. I think that's one of the key tips for people who are working remotely for long periods of time at a desk. Make sure your equipment works well for you.
Yeah,
get a larger screen. They're not expensive. It helps with eye strain.
You may as well go ahead and tell them the model. Okay, you know the question is going to come. Yeah, what model is your favorite model?
Well,
right.
I use the Logitech H800 for my headset because it's got active noise cancelling for the mic, and it's light. Got it, and it's foldable. It's compact. So when I travel, I just fold it and I bring it along. I can't charge it anymore. The charging port broke, and I can't fix the thing back anymore. It's very sad. So,
and wait. And the IKEA chair, which model of the IKEA chair?
I don't know the model.
Is this back in the day?
I sat in a few. Yep, I sat in a few, and it fit well.
All right. Okay. This is back in the day when you got a discount for IKEA chairs, right?
Yeah, no, it's not. It's long after.
I thought got plugged on. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks for that, Peter.
No problem.
Thanks for that. All right. Now, so Geeta, okay, let's move to the next part. Okay. Now, so we've talked about setting up. We talked about getting things ready. All right. Now, in terms of a rhythm, Patrick mentioned that we really should have a schedule. All right. And you had chimed in on there are a lot of smart watches that also provide you with this movement reminders that they have. All right. Now, in terms of planning a schedule from a physical perspective, how long should we sit? How long can we sit? What kind of exercises do we do? Do we just set up, do the wiggle? And maybe now you can show us that arm shake thing, that you were talking about earlier. All right. Geeta, go ahead.
All right. So, recommended if you sitting down, you should take a break, and that could be any break, but change your posture every hour. Because about every hour, what will happen is, you're sitting down. So these are a few things that will happen. Anybody, as you're sitting down, eventually from like this, you will start going like this. And this is very common. Everybody does this, So, and once your body, depending on how healthy you are or how fit you are, once your body knows it, eventually you will do this. Because your body knows. Your body knows it's not very comfortable. So as a rule of thumb, in every hour or so, if you could go and grab a glass of water or stand up. And I think a very good stretch would be, so people always say okay, how do I know I'm sitting right? And what they do is they exaggerate. And that's not good, actually. That's really not good posture. So the best way to know your posture is a simple, if everyone could just do this, is takes 10.
Yeah. You know what? I'm just repositioning myself and trying to do this now.
Yeah.
Right? So walk me through step by step, please.
Okay. So sorry, what you want to know your good posture by. So we call it an exaggeration. That means you exaggerate, really extend your back, and then relax. And this is your normal good posture. You
Not
don't have.
comfortable, huh?
So
It's not
see.
comfortable, huh?
Okay, so why we're not comfortable now? So like Peter was saying, he tried some chairs and not comfortable. So that could be a good thing and a bad thing, because let's say you've already adapted to a certain posture and your muscles are a bit shorter or tighter. When you go into a proper posture, you may not feel comfortable. Your body will be like, oh my gosh, what is this stretch? Why is my back this way? Why is this being pulled back? You know, so always give it some time, give it a couple of days for it to sink in, you know, especially if it's something that is good. So an example is, so when you do a lot of this, you're doing a lot of working down. So these muscles here are going to get very tight. So a simple stretch also would be putting your hands back, you know, and stretching it out. And you don't expect to be comfortable. You don't want to be comfortable. If you're comfortable, that means you're not really stretching anything. But
okay, Gita, stop. Walk us through, take us through. Can everybody join in? All right, and how do we do this? All right.
So hands behind your head. Okay, and then push your elbows as far back as you can while squeezing the back of your shoulder, your shoulder blades. Squeeze them.
Ow!
Squeeze them. Okay, now stretches, right? Stretches. You need to hold them for a minimum of 30 seconds, not 10 seconds. 30 seconds for there to be significant stretching. Okay, then you do that and then you relax.
20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25,
26, 28, 29, 30. Yeah.
Am I supposed to feel better because it's sore now?
Yeah, so, but you will. Give it a couple of hours maybe. Yeah, so those are, and so that is for this muscle, and then your posture. Right. And then one more very simple thing you can do is the muscles around here are very common for everybody working now on a computer to get very tight. So you, even if you right now, you just take your hands and you just press them right here. I can guarantee it'll be some pain. Press it a bit, you feel some it's like hard and a bit like a stone. Now this is the modern human being's problem. Okay, it is because we are always hunched over a computer. So a very simple stretch for this muscle, okay, it's called the upper trapezius stretch. Is taking one hand, putting it over your ear actually, okay, pulling it to the side of that hand. Now this hand, okay, you can either put it behind your back like this, behind your back. Now,
are you sure you're not making fun of us? Because I feel really silly doing this.
Take screenshots.
Yeah, I know. Screenshot. Carol, screenshot.
Okay, now pull your head towards your shoulder, but keep looking forward. And remember that stretches must be passive. That means don't do this. Your hand should be pulling your head and you must be relaxed. And that's very important, okay? Because then you can go more. And then same thing, 30 seconds. And this is a very good stretch that most people don't do.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. And repeat the other side.
The other side. So these are a few things I think people should do. And it will give you a bit of more energy maybe.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the upper body exercises. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid we cannot show you the lower body exercises. All right. It'll be a bit weird. Plus, all of us are in shorts, right? So, all right. So if we look at that, that's the exercises and activities here. Now, after talking to Patrick, we begin to realize that there's more in terms of the environment that we can create. Okay, and in terms of creating environment, there is no other specialist that I know than Patrick, because I personally have visited his future wellness centers. Okay, especially the one in Kota Damansara. Right, the moment you walk in, wow, you are bathed with relaxation. So I don't know what the trick is and what's he doing. All right, and I'd like Patrick to share that. Yeah, okay, Patrick, how else can we create a more other balance instead of this physical setups that we have? Yeah, Patrick, go ahead.
So say that again. The question is, how can we create
other forms of balance? Yeah, in addition to the furniture and the setting up, right? Are there any other things that we can do to create a balance and also a good working environment for energy?
Sure. I'm still going to go back to the concept of rhythm here, just expanding that a little bit more.
Okay.
I think the concept of rhythm is all about I'm going to just say in Chinese first. I'm trying to find the
Yeah.
English translation, right? So
Sure.
in Chinese, I use the term 该慢就慢，该快就快, meaning
Right.
there is a time to go slow and there's a time to go fast, right? So I think throughout the day, it's all about practicing mindfulness, so that we are mindfulness means we are observing and we are able uh, to share, again, going back to the word schedule. If you notice, I use a lot of these terms, scheduling,
Yeah.
rhythm, and all that, to know when is the time for us to be able to slow down. So I'm going to use the metaphor of a car or a vehicle as well. So it's very natural for a vehicle or even a business or even a person to break down, because if you are constantly at a very high gear, right? The car can't keep on going at fifth gear all the time for hours and hours and hours, right? You need to downshift sometimes. Okay, so the whole idea about balance is knowing when to slow down and when to go fast, and you need to schedule this throughout the day. So, for example, my day starts with typically a quick mindfulness practice. When I wake up, I don't immediately jump out of bed. I would spend some time in a way to, in a form of meditation as well, to be mindful, just observing what's around me, the temperature of the room, how am I feeling before I get up. So that's a short moment of mindfulness practice, and kind of also planting the seed, setting a dominant thought, what I want to achieve for the day, right? So that's also a form of mindfulness practice. And then what I do is I would then slightly later around 8:30, I would take the dogs out for a walk. I know it's MCO and all that, but then there's hardly anyone around in my taman walking around at that time. So
That's what everybody says.
Social
Okay.
distancing. Yeah.
That's
so
what everybody says.
Dogs
Everybody do it,
around,
then die lah.
No. I don't see anyone. I make sure I stay away, meters away from, if I do meet up and meet anyone. So, and then it's important to get out of the sun. The sun is a great source of energy, scientifically as well, because your body is actually able to produce calcium, and also vitamin D is very, very important for us. So 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. is the best time to be doing something that slows you down. So again, this is the best time for you to create a rhythm, because no longer do you have an excuse about being stuck in a jam for an hour in the morning, right? So you actually can create this rhythm for yourself, and the best way to start the morning is doing something like that. It's a mindfulness practice. Go out for a walk in the sun, or like for myself, I do Tai Chi, and I'll do some quick yoga stretches as well. Tend to my garden for a little bit. So that takes like an hour in the morning before I head into all my Zoom calls. So just an example of what happens in the morning. So, but again, there's nothing that fits everyone. So it depends on your nature. So you can design it. And some people are not really that, like myself, I'm a very, very morning person. Some of us may be night owls. So then your schedule and your rhythm and your flow might be different as well. But the whole idea is to make sure that throughout the day,
okay, I think
you plan it out in such a way that there's times when you downshift, but there's also it cannot be slow all the time also, because going too slow is also no good, right? So businesses or people tend to fail if you either go too fast or you go too slow. So again, if there's one key takeaway that I wanted to share with the group today, is really the importance of finding that right balance, the right rhythm, the right tempo, so you don't burn out, or nor are you too lethargic. Yeah, so that's adding on to the whole concept about rhythm.
Yeah, I like the concept of mindfulness and how you wake up. You say you go into a stage, a modality of mindfulness, right? So what do you think about when you become mindful? Because the moment I wake up, first thing is, okay, what do I have to do today? I have to take care of this. I have to take care of that. I have to take care of this. I have to take care of that. Got to get going already, right? So when you say mindfulness, it sounds really, to me, it sounds surreal. Do you get into a habit of doing that? What do you do? How do you become mindful? Be in the moment, right? It will be in the moment, right? Patrick?
How do we be more mindful? I think there are some simple practices. I think first of all, you have to make a commitment that or actually understand and accept the fact that mindfulness practice is really important, and it's not something woo-woo. Just for for example, just to share with everyone, like in UK, they've already introduced mindfulness into children's school curriculum. So the West is really embracing mindfulness practice and the power of meditation because it helps to increase concentration, increases memory, for example. So there's a lot of benefit to that. So first of all is to overcome the limiting belief that, oh, mindfulness, it sounds very woo-woo, very new age. It is very, very scientific, in fact, yeah? So that's number one. Then secondly is then, once you have accepted the fact that it is a very powerful state to be in, then what are the small little things you can do every day that you can create or new empowering habits, I call them, that you can introduce in your life. But I think the key thing is not to set yourself up for failure. If you tell yourself, you know what, I'm going to do an hour meditation every day, you know, that's not going to happen. Okay, so start with really, really simple and small adjustments. Like for example, one simple thing you can do is in the morning when you wake up, instead of jumping straight out of bed, just reflect and spend a few minutes observing your breath, observing your heartbeat, and go inwards. So when I say go inwards, it doesn't mean into a trance-like or in a very new agey kind of woo kind of feeling. It's more of going inside to observe your heartbeat and your breathing and all that. So that is a form of mindfulness already. Just being aware and being able to observe yourself in that sense. So that's a very simple practice. Just being mindful when you wake up in the morning, and just do that for a couple of days and you will observe a very, very powerful and significant change already.
Okay.
So that's something very simple. And there's so much resources online about how you can increase mindfulness. So I'm just not going to...
no. We have the master.
Just go online.
Okay.
Sorry?
Okay, thanks. We have the master here, so I want to hear it.
No, I'm not a master. I'm still a student, but there's so much resources online about what you can do to increase the mindfulness. Yes.
Absolutely. And I always get so zen when I talk to Patrick, you know. So it's like Patrick is like I don't know, like you've got this magic like Elsa of Zen, you know. All right. Anyway, there are quite a few questions, and let's go back to the corporate environment. And we talk about the corporate environment. We talk about performance management. When we talk about the corporate environment, we're talking about being responsive, being productive, being exemplary, you know. And how do we respond? Now, let's talk about that, and we'll take it to Peter. Now, Peter. All right, now you are working from home, and there are a lot of expectations from home. So a few things will come into play, I think related to the question just now that somebody shared on chat, which is in terms of performance management, in terms of expectations, you talk about a headset, all right? So are you expected to have your headset on all day, all the time? How responsive are you supposed to be? If it's your lunchtime, if a call comes in, do you have to take the call all the time, all right? Being human, I will go to the restroom. Is it proper etiquette to bring the headset with me to the restroom? All right. When I'm eating, you know, I may be eating KFC or ayam goreng McChicken, right? Okay, and McD, and I'm crunching, and it's so crunchy, and people hear me on the phone. So, what are some of the things in terms of performance management and etiquette that you can address and share with us, Peter? Go ahead.
Sure. So, there's a few different things to examine here. One is, in the current situation, everyone's working, or many people are working a 9 to 5, 9 to 6 environment. And in such an environment, you need to set boundaries around your own time. Your breaks are your breaks. And if your company can't accept that, they need to adapt. In honesty, it's only fair that you have your breaks. You need it. You need to disconnect and unwind a bit during those periods so that you can then focus full energy when you need to.
But is your boss calling, bro?
Then you say, I'm so sorry, I missed your call. I'll message you back later. You know, I'll follow up with it. Why do people insist on being connected all the time and at the whims and fancies of everyone else? It doesn't really matter as long as you produce the quality of work that you're supposed to, right? That's my personal view. And I think I'm lucky in that working full-time remotely for a global organization and now running my own company, we focus more on outcomes and deliverables than 9 to 5, 9 to 6, whatever it is. We work a 40-hour week, but the hours you work are yours to work however you arrange, even around the 7 days if you do so. I actually advise my team, though, not to do so because you need days off, you need time off. But let's say you have an urgent deliverable. You can work your hours around your time. I split my day into several parts. I'm lucky that way. So I work chunks of time and I have time in between to do other things that are important or give me pleasure or give me relaxation or family time, etc. I have at least a bit of flexibility to do that. Many people
Right.
don't. But as we go forward with remote working and with work from home, we're going to find more organizations are going to have to learn to do this. Now,
Yeah.
I saw there's a couple of questions around how do companies know what the people are doing? How do they performance manage this, etc. And I know a lot of managers. Sure.
Peter, sorry for interrupting. If you don't mind me just interrupting 1 second. Now, you mentioned that you work chunks, all right?
Yes.
So do you have fixed hours of chunks, or is it really based on the workload and priority of what needs to be done? All right. My issue is everything is important all the time.
It is.
Right. My day is one chunk. It's not broken into different chunks, but it's just one big chunk, right? Okay. So how do you separate that and identify those chunks?
Sure. So I think one of the key things is to set a schedule and stick to it. I think it's very important to build a rhythm, as Patrick said, and a rhythm which suits you. Some people do better in the morning, have a bit more energy. Some people a bit later in the afternoon, some people a bit later at night. And you'll find even during those periods, you have peaks and troughs where you have more energy or less energy, and where you're more creative, less creative, etc. Find what works for you and set the types of work that you do in those chunks. Concentrate on one thing at a time and then go to the next and the next. You try to do everything at once, you're going to find that you're working longer hours and doing less effective work. So I do split my day up into chunks, but these chunks are timed and planned. I know from this time to this time I am going to be working, and generally I know the type of work I'm going to be doing at different points of the day. And I set aside the time for that because that's how I've arranged my time. But even for those who are stuck with 9 to 6, etc., and synchronous work where you must be in contact with people and at the same time, you can still split your work types into chunks and give yourself short 5-10 minute breaks in between. That's really important. I do that even with my work to make sure that I have time to refresh, unwind, just stand up, stretch a bit, grab some water, etc. It's important to keep movement in your daily workflow so that you can concentrate again when you need to. So that's how I do it. Now, going back to the performance management bit, I think many companies now are working synchronously where everyone's working at the same time, and they're used to having people in the office and seeing them and being able to talk to them and say, oh, okay, this guy is working, he's at his desk. But the truth is, you don't really know that, right? And I think companies are going to move away from that to a more asynchronous structure, similar to what I have right now, where you rely on data to tell you what's happening and how to coach to improvement, right? Serious Support, we actually took the effort to create our own tool and methodology to enable reporting metrics, and also for yourself as a worker to know what you're doing and what you're doing well, what you're not doing so well, what times of work suit you actually, because you can tell from how focused you are and how intense your work is, whether you're doing work well at that point or not, and what styles suit you, what type of activities are you getting distracted by different things. And so that's the future of work. It's just like an athlete, where you measure many biometric pieces of data to determine peak performance and activity levels and rest and recuperation. With work, that's the future. You're going to need to be able to get a lot of data and information around it, and the tools to support that. And I think that's where the beauty of technology is, because there are such tools and bits of information around there that you can download for yourself for free. There's quite a few around as well. But what I say is key is have a structure, build a schedule around what works. Generally, if you're sleepy in the morning, etc., don't do intense thinking type of work. Do something which helps you warm up. Do some exercise first. I used to, I should start again. Exercise in the morning first thing. Every day I used to exercise first thing in the morning, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, some intense work, take a quick shower, and I'm fresher. And after lunch, I feel sleepy. I don't do so much, I do different types of work. I do more reading, less presentation type of work, or less documents. So schedule your time, be regular about it, and make sure that you have a good rhythm, a good structure, and you allow yourself time to disconnect as well.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for that, Peter. All right. Now, actually, talking about management, performance management, and working remotely, we have an expert with us who is not on the panel right now, but he's logged in. His name is Mr. Thomas Ng, right? And he's dialing in from Australia. All right. And we'd like to hear from what he has to say, and also perhaps share a little bit about about performance management and remote work as a whole. All right. So Thomas, if you don't mind, if you can just jump on very quickly. Okay, and what I'm going to do is you can go ahead and unmute yourself, yeah, and I'll give you the video. All right, Thomas, are you there? Thomas, are you there? Okay, all right, I don't see him, yeah, I don't see him, okay. There we go. All right, Thomas, is that you? Okay, I don't think so. Carol, I think you're unmuted all. Don't unmute all. Don't unmute all. Just one individual.
Ken, you're on mute.
Okay, Thomas, are you on? Thomas, can you hear us? No? Okay, all right, never mind. Gita, let's move to that. Yeah, okay, now you had a question here, a long question, right? And actually specifically to Mr. Tay's question. Mr. Tay says he's got a pain on his neck. This is the part where, I'm sure all your friends and everybody you meet will come to you and say, hey, Gita, why here my muscle? So I think we have a scenario here. Okay, panelists, if you don't mind, Gita is going to do some consultation with Mr. Tay. Mr. Tay, are you there? Mr. Tay? Where's Mr. Tay? He also gone. Wow, so many people drop out.
Sorry, I'm back.
Sorry, is this Thomas?
Yeah. It just dropped out.
Okay, hi there, Thomas. Yeah. Is your video on?
Yes, our video is on.
All right, okay, so we can spotlight you, that would be great. Hi there, Thomas. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Thomas is a remote employment specialist. Yeah, I think I'll let you introduce yourself. And we'd like your thoughts on remote management. All right, how do you manage a remote team in terms of performance management? And also for a work from home individual, all right, what kind of metrics are we looking at to measure my performance? For you to know that I am performing and I'm being productive. Yeah, go ahead, Thomas. Introduction first.
Okay, so well, I have a company. We are already 12 years old. We have about 100 people working for us, scattered across more than 10 countries. We have no physical office anywhere. Everybody works from home. And our customers are mostly governments and multinational companies. So listening to everything that was going on, it was quite amusing because a lot of things that are said, if I may just make a comment here. It sounds like, the whole group here working in Google or something like that, where they have a fantastic office or they have a corner office with a good view and, they can tell their boss, this chair is not nice enough. I want a better chair. I want an ergonomically designed chair. Most of us, I'm sorry, but, I think a large percentage of us work in a cubicle, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know why we're talking about all these things, right? So I think working from home, I think it's a matter of mindset, right? I mean, every time there's change, people kind of get a bit kind of worried. But in a lot of ways, it is a very positive kind of a change. Because apart from everything else, your home is designed for yourself. You feel most comfortable in your home. So working in your home must obviously be better than working in the office. And if your home is very, very small, then I can imagine your cubicle is even smaller in the office, right? So, and then nobody has brought up the issue about commuting, right? I mean, honestly speaking, when I go back to KL and have a meeting at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning, I tell myself, if ever I have to go and work back in the office, I'll probably kill myself, It's stuck in traffic all the time, And this is, most of my colleagues will say that, so can't imagine going back to work in an office environment. So And a lot of things that Geeta says, true. I mean, Patrick, true, because I try to do 80 push-ups a day. I break it up for four lots of 20 push-ups. I can't do that in an office, right? Kind of embarrassing. So and then I might feel that, I now want to take a call. I want to go to the recliner. I want to sit out under the sun is out in Melbourne. The sun is not always out, right? Sun is out. I want to sit outside. So you have all this kind of flexibility, and I think that I think that it's a matter of mindset. I think if people get used to it, then they start to realize that I think that the risk is that how am I going to go back to the office, when things go back normal. How we manage people, I think Peter said, was it Peter who had some very good suggestions, and then you talked about, being interrupted and all that. So we do have some etiquette. We don't simply call people out of the blue, It's not like, I'm the boss, like, hey, and then, you have to pay attention to what I'm saying. If I want to call anybody, I have to first send a message, right? Hey, can I call you now? And if you say you don't respond, then, but we also have got rules, right? If we decide to use a platform, whichever it is, WhatsApp or Skype or whatever platform, we have to actually put a status on it. So if I'm going to be out for a while, I'm going to the toilet sometimes, or toilet maybe not, because it's unless you have a long call. If I go for lunch, I will put there, out for lunch, and we must put down what time we are expect to be back. Because it's nothing more annoying than you try to contact somebody, he says, I'm out, we allow people to go and walk the dog, right? Out walking the dog. And then he never says when he's going to come back, right? And you don't know when he left, so he got to be gone for 3 hours. So some rules and regulations have to be in place, and it is more respecting each other than anything else. Right. So we don't call people out of the blue. And even like sending messages, we try to, a simple thing like you don't send a message in 10 parts, right? Because what happened is that you're working in an email, and then suddenly your Skype window pops up as a message, then you go to it and you look at it, and then you go back to your email, and then pop, another message comes up. It's a continuation of the previous message. So you said that if you have something to say to somebody, type it all out and send it out in one go, right? But of course, in my case, it doesn't really matter because I work with 3 screens. So I always have my instant messaging open on one screen, so I don't really need to I just have to turn my head, I don't need to, switch windows and things like that. So a lot of these things are actually, and the other thing is that I think Peter said it very well. At the end of the day, it's about performance. Now, the thing is that this traditional way of the boss walking in the office in the morning and then see, everybody is in his desk, and then when he leaves, 5:30 p.m., 6 p.m., everybody's still there. So I'm doing a good job, everybody's working. But how the hell do you know what they're doing? And honestly speaking, I now work with a lot of companies, and I see that there's a lot of wastage. Productivity is really horrible. But because we work online,
one of the downsides of working online, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's right. The internet. Yeah. Okay. Thomas, continue. Anything else?
Yeah. So I think that every manager has to watch over his.
Okay. All right. I'm not sure if it's me, but everything's frozen.
No, it's not you.
We do have tools. Oh, okay. There's a chat here. Is that me? Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
So one of the tools that we use is called Time Doctor. I don't know any of you have heard of this. So Time Doctor is a tool that actually we use that everybody actually clock time on what they're doing. And actually the most relevant use of Time Doctor is that we actually then accumulate time because we charge our projects and our clients, it's a basis to charge. And it is very useful. And most of the people in the company actually using Time Doctor. But Time Doctor also has what they call screenshot kind of a feature. So that means the time doctor would take screenshots of your screen or even of your video, the camera. We normally don't turn it on, but we do tell employees that if you give us reason to be, suspicious about you, we're going to use it, right? So actually, before when we catch some of our employees doing all sorts of funny things on their PC rather than working. But you can do that, but we generally don't. And in fact, our rules and what Peter said also relevant is that we don't tell people they have to work from 9 to 5. We said that if you want to go and walk the dog, you're going to go out, to buy medicine, or you want to cook, dinner.
Okay, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yep, okay, all right.
So I think there's a lot actually to talk about. We have done this for 12 years. We have a very diverse group of people around the world. We service our clients around the clock. The other interesting thing about our company, I don't know whether Tino mentioned to you, is that we started working this way because we actually started the company hiring people with disabilities. So today, of 100 people, 60 of them are people with disabilities. Another 25 to 30 are actually refugees. We hire Middle Eastern refugees who are stuck in Indonesia. And then we also have seniors. We hire seniors in Malaysia. And the good thing about managing a company like this, I can access workforce anywhere in the world. So, and so, I mean, to me, it's very liberating working this way. I mean, I work.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I think we kind of lost Thomas.
I was an expert for 15 years.
Thomas,
yeah,
we lost you again.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and wrap up. Anything else you want to add?
Well, I mean, I'm happy. Time is limited, and I'm happy to share. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Thomas. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take some questions. Okay. And this is the question that we had from Tay, right? Tay with the pain in the neck. Yeah. Gita, did you see the question? He put it on chat, actually. All right. He says he prefers to just type the question to you. All right. And he says, I'm a programmer. I realized that I have a neck pain since a couple of months ago, and this bothered me. Should I go for a treatment, a Chinese traditional acupuncture physician, or a doctor? Okay, Gita, what do you think?
Okay, so Tay, right? Yeah, I read his question. So I think actually, first it'd be good to realize some things about the pain. Like if it's going on for a couple of months, have you done anything about it? Have you put ice on it and see whether it goes away? That's very important, because if putting ice on it is going away, it could just be a muscle sort of tightness, which you don't need to go to any doctor or whatever. And then it'd be also good to find out what is aggravating it. If it's a certain posture, a certain movement that's aggravating it, that's one. But these are things that normally any doctor or physiotherapist or anybody would ask you, because that's how they're going to diagnose what's wrong with it. So you always want to differentiate between a nerve, a muscle, and a bone or a joint. That's the severity of cases. So if it's nerve, you're going to be feeling it from, let's say, your head all the way down to your fingertips, and you feel sort of like a shooting pain. And knowing pain is very important. That's also very important for anybody to know, like, what kind of pain are you feeling? That's one. So if it's nerve, then you might want to see a doctor, just because nerve is normally related from your spine. If it's muscle, so muscle works differently. So if you put ice on it, you stretch it out a bit, stretch the neck out a bit, it will go away, but it'll come back. If it goes away and comes back, normally it's muscular. If it's joint, then it's going to be constant. You're going to feel like just like a nagging sort of pain, and it's very localized. It's just on your neck. So depending on them, if it's muscle, I think you can do it at home. If it feels more like a nerve or a joint, then I would suggest probably seeing a doctor or a physiotherapist. I think acupuncturists, it's good, but I think they are it's good to be, they're very good as an adjunct, like, you know, a complementary treatment with something else. Like you see acupuncturist, see a doctor, get some medication, see a physiotherapist, you know, a holistic approach to it.
Wow, that's a very expensive recommendation. You gotta meet all three people. Okay, all right. Thank you for that, Geeta. Okay, any other verbal questions? Does anybody have a question? If you have a question, just put your hand up. All right, we will unmute you and you can ask the question. All right, anyone? Anyone? Yeah, just put your hands up. Indicate that you have a question, or and we'll unmute you. You can put it on chat. All right, you can put it on chat. No? Okay. All right. If there aren't any questions, let's just go ahead and wrap this up. And some final words. Yeah, final words from our panelists. Okay. So, in order to have a rewarding work from home experience, right? What are some of your final words and some words of wisdom? Yeah, Patrick, go ahead.
Sure. Thank you, Ken, again for having me. I hope I've created some value for the group. Something to add on apart from what I talked about, creating a rhythm and a schedule, so that you have more certainty in your to get into flow, better flow. I think the other thing to keep in mind is that there are a lot of very powerful tools that can support us to increase productivity, and that's what we're talking about. So the tools could be, for example, just now about in terms of reminding us to move, but there are also a lot of tools related to increasing collaborative work. For example, I'm not sure if some of you are familiar with the Slack, for example, which is a great tool. My team uses it, where it allows us to archive, organize different topics and different work. I use Trello.
Sorry,
what's the name
of that app again?
Slack. I'm just going to type it here.
Slack, okay. Yeah, I think I have it. Yes, S-L-E-C-K.
Yeah. Yep. So Slack is a great one, and I also use Trello. Trello allows you to have to basically pin up different boards with different lists of to-do, so to speak. The other thing is Google Drive. If you have not yet started using Google Drive, please start using Google Drive, because I think we are in the age of collaboration. No longer is it about I type one document, email to you, you take a look at it, you edit it, and you email it back to me. Please, no more of that. We have to be collaborative. In fact, you'll be amazed about how, you know, like some of my team members, we've started using it for already, I can't remember, maybe 2-3 years. And sometimes there are like 5-6 of us working on one single document, and we can knock out a proposal within a couple of hours, just working in a very collaborative manner. I think collaboration is very powerful and also addresses the concern or the question about accountability, micromanagement, and things like that. Because once you are in a flow and you have this dynamics going on, actually it doesn't even arise anymore. Like with my team members, we don't really like check on whether they are working or not, or at what time. I mean, number one is really like what Peter and Thomas says, is all about performance and results at the end of the day. But it's also about the team dynamics and the flow. If your team is all in flow and they all know what they're accountable for and what their roles they're playing, you will know that they are really in sync with you, especially when we are using all these different tools, because we're constantly tagging and leaving comments and waiting for someone to respond. You will know whether someone is in sync with you or not. Because if this person only responds to you like a day after, then this person is not in sync. You get me? So many of these tools actually is very, very powerful. So yeah, I've just mentioned some of them like Slack and Trello and all that.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
Patrick, I want you to mention something else, something that is very close to your heart, right? And I really want you to mention this and share it with the public, okay? Because I am very, very moved by it. Yeah, we're talking working from home, but you do something for women and mothers that work from home. All right.
Okay.
Can you share a little bit about what you are doing there?
Sure. You're talking about our Super Moms project, is it?
Absolutely.
Okay, right. So one of the things that's happening in the wellness industry is that unfortunately wellness workers are not given the same amount of respect, and the perception is not as positive as wellness workers or professionals overseas. So what I wanted to do is address two things. Number one is to upgrade the standards of the industry. by providing training to upskill, including, in fact, I just spoke to Geeta just shortly a while ago to see how we can upskill more therapists to also learn physiotherapy, to learn postnatal care more. So what they are learning is more professional on one hand. On the other hand, is also looking at opportunities to see how we can help single mothers, especially. It's quite shocking. There's more than, I think 10 years ago, there was already close to 900,000 single moms in Malaysia. And hence, we wanted to see how we can work with the corporates. And the good thing is we recently got Maybank Etika, who's very keen to support our Super Mums project to help single moms. But at the same time, there are also a number of other NGOs and companies who have reached out to us to say that they would like to also offer micro entrepreneurship, or even there's a company that wants to sponsor. It's actually a Facebook training company, Facebook marketing training company, who wants to train and empower women in learning digital marketing from home. Right. So thanks for the opportunity, Ken. So for me to share this. So if you know anyone, any single mothers especially, who would like to go into the wellness industry, or they would like to be involved in some micro entrepreneurship or work from home, literally in the area of Facebook marketing, let me know, because we do have sponsors and corporations who are willing to support and empower these women. Yeah.
Absolutely. How can people reach you, Patrick?
What's the best way? Maybe on social media, that's probably the best. Yeah, look for me on Patrick Wee. In fact, before I close, right, I would like to also share something with the group. My team and I, we have set up a Facebook group called Sehat Bersama Malaysia. Am I allowed to share that here?
Okay lah, no mind lah. Just one chance lah. Okay.
Yeah. So this, I've just shared it on the screen. It's called COVID-19 Sehat Bersama. And in this group, you'll be able to access all sorts of resources and tips about staying healthy during this COVID-19 situation. I've got a number of our friends in the medical and wellness industry coming in. This is basically just now, can crack a joke about learning Tai Chi. Yeah? So my Tai Chi master, David Bao, is actually a world champion. He's actually committed to making like an instructional video every day. So good thing about Facebook group is that it allows us to literally archive them based on topics. So he has already made like 7 videos. So if you go into this group, you can also pick up Tai Chi if you're interested. Yeah, but we have a lot of content here. And we just started a series on naturopathy as well. This is a call out from my good friend, Dr. Alex Pang, who's with UMMC, UC Malaya, who's actually giving an update right, at the front line, what's happening at the hospital as well. So yeah, so this is probably in closing, I'd like to just share. Please do make full use of this resource and connect with all these wellness experts so that we can all stay healthy and be as productive as we can while we work remotely from home. Thank you, Ken. And thank you, everyone.
Brilliant. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. And so let's go ahead and move to Peter. Peter, any final words before we close off?
A few. So thanks again, everyone, for the questions. Some of them were really good and helped us expound a bit on our experiences. And I think there's a lot of value in what people like Patrick, Geeta, and myself have said, and Thomas as well. The future of work is going to be moved more towards remote work from home, either full-time or part-time. And we're going to see more shifts from synchronous work to asynchronous work. And that dictates the use of technology to enable that. And it's a very interesting time for everyone, I think, as we transition to that. And right now, though, everyone is struggling because, you don't have separation between family and work, but everybody's stuck in the house at the same time. It's difficult. But hang in there, use technology, use a good structure, have open and good dialogues with your family about times that you need to be concentrating and you need silence, or times when you're free, for example, to do other stuff.
Right.
So make sure that communication is very clear and very open. And that way you can help work through these times when everybody is cooped up together and hopefully make it work for you. Yeah, I also have I always play with these kinds of things. I also have these finger exercise things and all that to keep
Oh my
stretching
goodness.
while I do
All right.
work. I've got this as well. So have things around which help stimulate motion, movement. Even with your fingers, I always move my toes, my feet, my fingers, my hands. So I'm not just sitting still all the time.
Right. Okay. No, it's something that Peter and I always talk about, and it's really about managing a remote work staff. It's really showing appreciation to your work staff now. So all the managers out there, for all those leaders who are looking at implementing work from home, or even now you don't have a choice, your staff is working from home. You always lose the sense of belonging from your staff. Yeah, and you need to really show that you care for them. We are so worried about performance managing. Are they working? Are they sitting down at their desk? Are they being productive? You really must show that you care for them first, before you even put all these performance management programs in place. One of the few things that we'll do, this is very simple, basic. All right, one of the top 3 accounting firms, okay, and I'm sure you all know who it is, right? So my sister is a consultant with them. So what they have done is every month they will send 3 boxes of face masks and hand sterilizers. Okay. All right. And does your company do that? Okay. Do anybody know any companies who do that? Right? So these are the little things that really show that you care. Yeah. There are some banks that we're working with that we put together packages where we are putting together, packs of little face masks, little hand sterilizers, little massage things, things to make people, help people work better at home, right? To show that you care, to reach out to them. Right. So for all the managers out there, please don't think performance only. You must show that you care. You must show you're connected with your staff. But before you do that, contact me. We'll talk about more of these things, and we can look at these campaigns that we're running. Okay. So let's move to Gita. Gita, final words.
Ken, before we move across,
yes.
just one quick thing as well to add, which is to add to what Thomas and Patrick have said. Remote work is also another great opportunity for us to connect with and utilize parts of the workforce we never would have normally, and which are disenfranchised or underserved. For example, single moms, full-time stay-at-home parents, people with disabled children or parents where they need to be home to take care of them, retirees, etc. We've got a few people. My partner Craig, for example, in Washington, has an employee who's quite seriously disabled, but because of this, is able to earn a good living. We pay him fairly well, and we accommodate his needs. So he needs about a couple of hours off at lunch to attend physiotherapy, etc., because he needs it. And we arrange the schedule around him. It's not a big ask for him to do that. And in return, we get a marvelously trained, skilled, knowledgeable worker. It's a win-win for everyone. So I think that's the other thing that, push your companies and organizations to look at, helping get more people from society into the workforce who could contribute very positively. A lot of them have a great amount of knowledge and skill, and it's a great time for remote work to help enable those people.
Absolutely. I think that's brilliant. That's a brilliant advice. Yeah. And to deploy that, right? I mean, like Thomas was saying, that most of the people they hire are I don't want to use the word disabled, but they're not able to be moving around, right? And they are refugees that help them. So I think it's a great opportunity to do that. For all of us who are starting to work from home, your job is at risk now, because if you're not unable to meet those performance standards, all right, there are a lot of people ready to take over your job. Okay, so Gita, final words, please. Your mute is on.
Oh, you're on mute.
Yep. Gita, you're on mute.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, that's right.
Okay, so thank you for this opportunity, and yeah, some questions were really good. They even made me think about some of the things I was doing. I think I'd just like to end with saying, maybe just commenting a little bit. So I think it's really, going back to a little bit to what Thomas said, like our homes are normally where we are most comfortable, which is generally true, but I think it's also very important to maybe know that some of us, because we don't, depending on our living conditions, there may be people who do not use the home as most of us might look at the home. Like if you're working from home for 12 years, yes, your home is going to be something that you have built and you're very comfortable in. For most people who are renting, refugees who are working wherever they're working from, right? So I think little things like what maybe Patrick has mentioned, like chairs and tables, I think it would be a very good adjustment to that lifestyle. And because even now, when we are not working from home, or we are working from home, we still get people coming in, mostly with injuries from work, and we don't do much of manual work these days. The people that come into us are people who are working in front of computers. So
Right.
there's something that is missing there. And yeah, I think there's a very good space to expand. Yes, find a space that's comfortable, build that. And yeah, it's like, so if you're somebody who's doing 80 push-ups a day, that is great, please continue doing that. But yeah, but generally, in 2016, about that, the statistics was 1 in 4 Malaysians is sedentary, and this is a huge problem. And whether it's working from home or working from the office, this isn't going to change. Like, yes, mindset must change, but the concept of movement is very important. Like, people are talking about standing and working, and even in offices. So maybe that, put your laptop somewhere, stand for a while, sit for a while. And yeah, so I think these are really, but I completely am, it's amazing how Thomas and Peter and was saying that, you're empowering a lot of people who aren't able to commute to places normally, and then it gives you opportunities to go for physiotherapy, which is so important. And and it also improves the productivity, and I think those are really amazing things to be done. So yeah, thank you, everybody.
Okay. Brilliant, brilliant. All right, now let me just wrap things up. Okay, so thank you all the panelists. Thank you, Patrick. Okay, thank you, Peter. Thank you, Geeta, and also thank you, Thomas, for chiming in from Melbourne. Okay, and I think Karen kind of encapsulated everything very well here. Karen, thank you, Karen. Not official co-host, but thanks for helping out. All right, she said, thank you for the tips from Ikigai to energy management to creating the space and schedule, the setting up of how you work. Right, working in chunks. Not my style of big chunk, but breaking into small chunks. All right, the balance, the working etiquette, working from home etiquette. All right, and something that Karen added was, as a manager, as colleagues, be aware of parents who have to prepare meals. I'm beginning to realize how difficult it is to plan for 3 meals a day. All right, and to cook for the 3 meals also. It's a nightmare. All right, so be aware of that and have the etiquette. Yeah, okay. The ergonomics of how you sit. Okay, the movements that's required. Okay, the apps that we can use. Let me just run through the apps. The movement reminder apps. Yeah, we talked about the Time Doctor. We talked about Slack. We talked about Trello. Right, so all of these things will help us move to where we are today. So the future of work is working from home. Right. Final word for management teams and also your companies. If you're going to be moving work to home, a lot of the organizations I know during this lockdown, during this MCO, have started moving their office equipment to the staff's house. Get this, yeah? They are moving office equipment to the staff's house. We talk about chairs. The office chairs are actually shipped through the staff's houses. All right, using Bungkus8 or Lazada, whatever services there are online that can actually ship things. Yeah, so you can use that. Right, computers are being sent there, laptops are being sent there. In fact, our team, we sent computers to their houses. Had everybody take their computers home, right, to do what's required. Right? There's nothing worse than not being equipped to do what we need to do. Okay, and last but not least, we really need to, like what Tino said in the chat, we really need to empower our staff and trust our staff to be able to do what they need to do. As a staff working from home, final word is discipline. You need to really have discipline to do what you need to do. Take what all the panelists have advised us, right, and have given the tips here, and make use of it. Yeah, make use of it. All right, and you will truly have a rewarding work from home experience. Okay, and with that said, all right, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us on this ATCEN webinar on working from home. Are we doing it right? Yeah, or doing it right? All right, with that said, thank you very much. Enjoy your stay at home, right? And expect the MCO to be extended. Jang, jang, jang. All right. Thank you, everybody. Okay. And for anybody who wants to hang around, we're going to have a little chat, a casual chat with the panelists after this session. All right. So we're going to close it off now officially, stop the recording, and then